Let's get started. Welcome to the $1 Million Career, and welcome again my guest host, Craig Picken, president of North Star Executive Search Group. How are you today, Craig?
Rob, what's going on? I'm good. It's raining today. It's good. It's Monday, rainy Monday.
Rainy Monday, man. How was your Easter weekend?
It was good. It's quiet. Saturday was sunny, fun-filled. Gym in the morning, yard work in the afternoon. Yesterday was just a quiet, do nothing day. You need one of those. You need one of those every now and again.
Easter egg hunting expeditions, or
no.
Anyways, all right, man. Well, hey, first of all, I want to thank my listeners and my readers. Since my last blog, received 102 emails, and one of these caught my eye, and one of them was, Rob, how do I manage my boss? It was just sort of a weird question. I'm thinking about it like, how do you manage your boss? So I thought about this over the last 24 hours, and I was thinking to myself, this is a problem that I had when I was in the corporate world, how to manage my boss. So I did a little bit of research. I'd actually written a blog about this a couple of years ago, which is very outdated, but I wanted to address the topic and get your thoughts on this, because although you and I haven't had many bosses, we have had some bosses. So I'm going to throw this out there. So the three ways I should say to manage your boss, I come up with: one, build on strength, not on weakness. Number two, listen and learn from your boss. And number three, which is the one I was really bad at, is engage with your boss. So those are the three ways that I came up with in managing your boss. Obviously, I want to get your thoughts on this, but building on strength, not on weakness, is really, I had a boss in Nairobi, Kenya. Actually, he was the guy that owned the majority of my company at the time, and he was a local African partner in Kenya. And you know about this business, the telecoms business, and this guy was involved in the financial numbers, in the day-to-day activity, and he just wasn't very good at it. And so I had two choices. One, I can try and fight this, and what I would say, build on my weakness, or build on his weakness, or I could assess what he was good at and build on his strength. So his strength was the local relationships with the licensing authorities, keeping the local gangsters in check, because he was the ex-chief of staff of President Moe, and a lot of the face-to-face relationship management. He was really, really good at this. So what I did is I don't want to say manipulated, but I got him to see where his strengths were, and that's what he focused on. And then I focused on the stuff that he was weak at. So that's sort of an example of building on your boss's strength and not his weakness. So
yeah, I mean, look, the beautiful thing about the world today is everybody wants to complain about their boss. It's all over. You read social media, LinkedIn, it's all over. I got a crappy boss. Well, for everybody I hear about who's got a crappy boss, I have a conversation with bosses who say I have crappy employees.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a two-way street. And look, it's a Tom and Jerry cat and mouse comedy skit. Every day it's how do I, and I love the build on strength. Yes. I love the build on strength. Not every boss is, bosses are put into positions because, maybe they're good leaders, maybe they're good strategists, but they're not good at everything.
Yeah, right.
And when you talk about hey, do you have a candid conversation with your boss? You go, look, I notice you're really good at A, B, and C, but you need some help with, D, E, and F. I'm really good at D, E, and F. And my goal as a teammate of yours is to help you look great, help you run your team. I never heard a boss complain about a great employee. And that's the beautiful,
Exactly.
I've never had anybody call me up and say, gee, Craig, everybody on my team is fantastic. yeah, it is a ducky day, right?
Yeah.
But I never had any employee call me up and say, hey, I've got the most, I've never had, that it's so, like I said, so I love the build on strength part.
Yeah.
And it's figuring out where you're strong and figuring out where you add value.
Yeah.
And how do you
Exactly.
manage your boss? You're going, hey, look, I'll fill in the gaps and I'll do it and I'll do a good job. And, I understand where you want to take this thing and I understand where you really add value. And, you know, it
Yeah.
could be, it could be, hey, the boss has got 50 different things going on, but the spreadsheets still need to get done and they need to get reviewed, right? Well,
Yeah.
get them done and get them reviewed,
Yeah.
so there you go. That's how you manage your boss.
Yeah. Yeah. In the military side of this, I did a lot of work down at Fort Polk with special forces. And I remember this guy, he was like an E8 enlisted guy right up at the top of his game. I remember, asking him like, how the hell did you rise so quickly in the NCO ranks, the non-commissioned officers ranks, which is a tough thing to do. This guy started out 18 years old out of high school as an E1, and he said, it's real simple, Rob. I've had a lot of really bad bosses, bad, captains leading my team, but I always did what nobody else wanted to do or couldn't do. And my boss loved that about me. That's all I did. I just wanted to do what nobody else could do or wanted to do. And that's how I managed my boss. And that's how I got promoted every third year.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
like I
Look,
said,
when I was in the Navy, when I was an officer in the Navy, I only called out, and my management style was when I had a division of 30 people and we were flying like hell and I had to go fly, and you're just flying alone is a 9-hour day, and then you're looking at, hey, I got to go manage the troops, and the troops are up 24, the troops are working in 3 or 4. So you can't do it. And what did I say to my chief? I go, look, I got to fly.
right,
I got to do
exactly.
paper. I got to fly and I got to do paperwork and I got to do all this other crap. You tell me your job is to come to me if you have a problem or if you need something, or if I can help you be successful in any way, shape, or form.
There you go. Yeah.
But your job is to take care of the troops and handle the stuff, and I'll see you, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's very hands off. The only time I ever, it was when I was a 28-year-old division. I was like, it was the middle of the night and I had the alert flight, and I knew that the alert aircraft was going to get, you're going to go pre-flight it, which took an hour. And then I knew that at 2:00 in the morning, I was going to get a call saying that airplane went down or that airplane got stuffed somewhere and we needed to go pre-flight another airplane. So I told the chief, I was like, what's the backup bird? He's
Exactly.
like, the only time I ever came unglued is when I said, tell me what the backup aircraft is, because I'm going to go do 2 pre-flights tonight for an alert. Cool. No, sir, there's no back. Anyway, so that was it. So it was like, hey, look, the communication is key. And it's understanding where you build strength, understanding where the other person has strength, letting them do their job. And managing them. Is that? That was probably a long rambling way of saying.
I like your Navy stories, man. So the other one is, and I learned this from my first boss I had when I was in real estate development. This is going back like 40 years, man. Listen and learn. I remember I just finished working for Arthur Anderson, CPA firm. And I transitioned over to commercial real estate development. And I really wanted to learn this business because, real estate's how you make a lot of big money. And I had a good boss in my office in Houston, and they were going to send me out to San Antonio to work as a junior project manager for this guy, Ruben Trevino, who was like a second father to me. I remember this guy, Mel Blum, called me into his office and he said, Rob, he says, I'm going to send you to San Antonio. He said, just listen to what this guy has to say. Just put your finger in your mouth and just listen to what Ruben is gonna teach you, because this guy's a great teacher. He's going to teach you real estate development from the ground up, literally. He said, just go out there and just listen and learn as much as you can. And you know what? This guy, Ruben Trevino, was an unbelievable man. And he really was like a second father to me. And he taught me everything I needed to know about the real estate business. And you know what? I just used to go on these long drives into all parts of Texas. We had projects in Dallas and Amarillo and Lubbock and San Antonio and, South Texas. And we would go on these long rides. You had this big Mercedes with the old car phone,
Mhm.
and I was just used to listen to this guy for hours and hours while we drove to all these different real estate projects. And nobody ever told me really, but that was key. He promoted me every year. And it was because I think I was just really patient. I never really talked too much. I just listened and I learned from this guy. I just sucked everything out of his brain.
Listening is the one, it's like push-ups.
Yeah,
It is the
exactly.
most, listening is the most underrated skill. Push-ups are the most underrated exercise in the gym. They're awesome for you.
Yeah.
It's, I remember when I started, I got out of the Navy, I started my first job. And you want to come in and you want to make an impression, and and it was selling airplane. I went to work for Gulfstream Aircraft, and these guys were all talking about financing airplanes and LIBOR and running the money through agents, and internal return, IRR, cap rates that they needed to hit, and they couldn't do the deal. And you're like, I don't know jack about finance.
Yes.
No. So nothing drives me crazier than people who have an opinion on something they know nothing about.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Take Congress, for instance. I'll get political for a second. They just did this. They just invited all the oil company CEOs to testify. And you have these congressmen who know nothing about the oil industry talking to CEOs of oil companies who have forgotten more about the oil industry than all of Congress will ever know. Listening is the most underrated skill in the world. You listen to your boss, you learn, you listen to all the people around.
Yeah, no, that's it.
You
Listen to learning. And the third one, engaging with your boss. Now, I was guilty of not doing this. And I think it was because if you can imagine me 45 years ago, I was basically an introvert. It was difficult for me to talk to people. I was always shy, would have been a low self-esteem probably. So in a different job, my boss was sitting like 4 doors down. And I just never went down to talk to the guy. I don't know what it was. It was like he kept his door closed a lot, and it was like going to visit with God or something, knocking on the gates. It was just like so intimidating to go down and just talk to my boss. And then I saw this guy about 5 years after I left the company, and he told me, he says, Rob, he says, the thing about you is, man, you always had like really provocative things to say at the meetings, at the Monday morning meetings. He says, you never really extended that after the meeting. He said, I always wondered why you never came down to see me. I didn't think you liked me. And I said, no. I said, no, it was nothing. I was just afraid to go talking. He goes, if you had engaged with me a little bit more, you would have done a lot better. And then I had somebody else tell me that in a different job. Rob, you should have spoke up more. So I think a lot of it is just engaging with your boss.
Well, look, what do people love to do? They love to teach.
Yeah.
They like to mentor. If you go back, let's go back to the last thing. Listen, hey, boss or Joe or Mary, tell me why you chose to go down this path. Teach me what your thought, teach me what you knew, why you knew that was the right direction to go.
Right.
Teach me about this part of finance that I don't understand. Why you teach me about this part of manufacturing or whatever. People like to engage. What do people like to talk about? They like to talk about themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
People, if you ask them about themselves, how did you get to this point?
Yeah.
And you shut up, you engage, and you do so in a positive way, it changes relationships.
Yeah.
Teach me, mentor me, help me get better. So someday I can help you be better
Yeah. Yeah.
and listen.
Yeah. Like, I had a different boss actually that, I was more self-aware at this point to engaging with him. And I noticed he used to work out at the club. Now, I wasn't at the level in this organization at this point to become a full-fledged member in this health club. It was like a health club and a dinner club and stuff. And I went down and I asked him, I said, is there any way I could get a membership? Because I love to work out. And I knew that he worked out. And he said, well, you're not at the level yet, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you my number. And I still remember what that number was. It's B210. That's what his membership number was. He goes, go ahead and use my membership number and you can work out. He says, it's not a big deal. And, from time to time, I'd see him at the club and it's like you and your rather large neighbor that you were talking about who likes to work out. I mean, what better way to engage with your boss if you work out at the same club or play golf at the same club or play tennis at the same club?
Yeah.
It's engagement.
Yeah. Look, it's engagement. You catch more flies with sugar than you do salt, right? Or vinegar.
Exactly.
And look, and no, not every boss is great. I'm not going to sit here and say, look, there's a lot of bosses that are threatened by talented employees. I mean, that just shows a lack of self-esteem or a lack of, it's just weakness. They see fast rising employees and they're threatened by them.
Exactly.
And, but on the flip side too, the people who hire good teams, good teams of talented people are the people that rise through the organization, the ones that climb the ladder, the ones that get to the top. If you hire good teams and let them do it, they will make you, look good. If you hire crappy teams, because you're threatened by good people or smart people, it's kind of like a salmon swimming upstream. You're just doing it to spawn and die. I mean,
this works in reverse too. I mean, if you're a boss listening to this is a better way to handle and manage and lead your direct reports or your subordinates is by building on their strengths and perhaps letting them do some things that you don't like to do or can't do,
Yeah. If you're a boss, the best favor you can do to somebody is go, why don't you just shut up and listen? Instead of telling the world how brilliant you are, why don't you just shut up and listen for a few minutes? Maybe you'll learn something.
Yeah, exactly.
On the flip side too, from the person who's leading the organization, look, you got 100 things going on. Let some of your employees fill in the gaps. Quit trying to be Superman or Superwoman.
Yeah. And instead of leaving your door closed all the time, open up and encourage your direct reports to come in and engage with you.
Oh, that used to drive me nuts. I used to see president of a division and his door was always closed. And what's the message that sends to people? I am too important with important things that I'm closing off my door. Guy's the most arrogant, self-centered executive I've ever met. His door was always closed. You could never say anything to
him. We had this guy in one of these companies. He wasn't the president, but he was like a regional VP, Ivy League degree, young guy, had a family connection in this company. This guy was the quintessential empty suit. He would dress in like a dark suit, white shirt, like red or blue tie. He would go into his office, close the door, and instead of turning the fluorescent lights on, he had like a Chinese lamp or something on his desk, and he would click the lamp on, and you would walk into this place and be like walking into the Smithsonian or something. It was so like intimidating and just off-putting that like nobody ever went in this guy's office, and nobody really knew what this guy did. Nobody.
How do you manage that? If that's your boss, how do you manage it? And that's a question. I mean, literally, that's a question. What do you do with that? What do you do with that person? How do you manage that person? How do you manage your career in that kind of environment?
Yeah.
The answer is you do good work and you network with everybody else around them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
He wasn't there that long anyway. So anyways, Hey, Craig, thanks a lot for joining up again. So just to kind of recap the three things, and you can agree to disagree or whatever. It's number one, build on strength.
Love that.
Number two, listen and learn. Like you said, just shut up and listen. And the third one is just learn how to engage with your boss. So if you can do those three things, I think you do a pretty good job managing your boss.
I think, look, it's people skills.
Yeah,
Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and how to win friends and influence people, right?
exactly. So,
Okay.
so thanks a lot again, and we'll see you in a week or so, Craig.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for
again,
coming
man.
on.
All right. Hey, Craig, I was going to ask you, so how do people get a hold of you?
Oh, just call me.
These emails, people say, how can I get a hold of Craig? So Craig, how can I get a hold of you?
Craig, CRAIG at northstaresg.com, or just call me 910-509-7129.
And you're on LinkedIn too, right?
I am on LinkedIn. You can connect with me or follow me.
I see a lot of your articles, man. You got some great stuff on there. So definitely check out Craig Picken on his LinkedIn, email, whatever. He's the real dude, man. So thanks, Craig.